So it now has been weeks since Anthropic launched the Claude for Small Business plugin, and I'm just wondering, why is nobody talking about this to this day? Because quite frankly, this is going to be an absolute game changer for founders who just simply want to run a leaner process, not have to hire countless VAs or have a full-time team member being distracted by the small tasks like invoice chasing, figuring out who hasn't paid the invoice yet, simple stuff like that, or also just don't want to build monster N8N workflows to automate all of this. Now, with that being said, this plugin offers 31 skills, so you can do all that stuff that I've just mentioned with just a single command and a few system connections. And this does everything from stuff like invoice chasing, payroll planning, knowing your run rate, knowing how much profit you're making based on the revenue you've generated, if you should increase your prices for a product based on margin and what the industry is doing, CRM cleanup, contract review, whatever, you name it. All these small things that usually had to have, whether that was in a VA or a full-time team member taking care of it, or huge N8N workflows, can now be done within a simple command, such as, can you help me plan my payroll, build a 30-day cash flow, and list all the outstanding invoices. Easy as that, because once you know your numbers, you can actually scale predictably, because you can now know, okay, can I experiment with my budget right now and stuff like that. Now, it's very easy to set up, which is also why I'm so confused that nobody's talking about this. You just go to the desktop interface from Claude. Very important that you have it download, and then you go to this top left button which says customize, browse plugin, and then you just say small business, and there you go. You just click on install, and that is it. And then of course, next up, we want to make sure that all these connectors are connected, because the more tools you have within Claude that it can use and that it can call actions from and so on, the more it can do hands off with you having to prove anything or whatnot. Now here, very interesting skills in there. As I already said, let's take, for example, invoice chase. I have a friend who I was also at a business event in Croatia last week for an entire week with, and they've been running their business for years now. And they have implemented a system like this just a few weeks ago. And they have noticed that they have still 300,000 euros worth of outstanding payments from the last 2 years. And what this system can then do, it's going to look at the history. Okay, has this client already failed to pay in the past, or is this the first time? And based on that, it's going to make sure that it has a certain style, a certain tone within how it reminds them. Through that, it's going to write the personalized email that you can then send out via Gmail, because again, it's also connected to your Gmail. Stuff like that, which can literally save you hundreds of thousands of euros in missed payments. Well, let's actually take other ones like Margin Analyzer, who just literally analyzes your entire margin, your profit margin. Where does the profit go? How much margin do you actually have? Then Price Check. This is going to spit out exactly, okay, you have XYZ product. This is the revenue that you're making from it. These are the expenses. This is gross margin. Should you increase the prices? And so on and so forth. And you even got stuff like tax preparation. You can connect it to Google Drive, you can connect it to Gmail, and it's going to pull all the data, all the invoices, whatnot from there, and it can help you prepare your tax. And all that stuff where you have to hire a bunch of VAs, a bunch of accountants, a bunch of people that take care of the finance side of things, you don't have to do that anymore, because you have a simple plugin within this interface. And the very easy way of how to use that is going to be, you just do the slash invoice chase, bam, you type your command, and then it's going to list the open invoices and then how to follow up with them. And you've just made it a routine to follow up with people who haven't yet paid you, which is going to save you, again, a bunch of money, because a lot of people just forget about it or just don't have the nerves to have to look at all this data and figure out who is currently not paying invoices. Or also simply just knowing your numbers, because quite frankly, most of you guys probably don't even know what are your gross margins, what revenue are you currently generating, what is the profit margin on that, should you increase your prices, and so on and so forth. You don't have the data. But without data, you can't predictably and reliably make decisions within your business. That is why this plugin is going to be an absolute game changer for a lot of service providers out there, whatever business you run. And with that being said, if there are any other questions, let me know. But besides that, make sure you install exactly as I've just shown you. Happy hunting, and I'll see you guys in the next one.